a very special episode of New Comic Book Day Book Club.
Does that mean we do team pregnancy?
Maybe. Wait and find out. There will be a twist. We don't know how to do math, so we decided to do our mid-year review 8 months in.
Right? That seems about half.
It's about half.
It's half-ish.
My name's Alec. This is White Whale Comics. Over here is John.
I'm the other way.
Got it. There's John. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I've out of jury duty, man. I got out of jury duty, and I don't have to worry about fantasy football again for a whole year. So I'm in a win column.
So I got out of jury duty by moving to a different state, and I'm pretty sure the draft is only the start of the fantasy football process.
Yeah, I really don't check my team. I set them and I forget them. Isn't that how it works? Set it and forget it.
I think that's for the chicken roaster. How many kickers did you get?
I have a whole team of them.
Nice. Winner.
Yeah.
So, as I mentioned just a moment ago, we're doing a mid-year review because John had to do fantasy football last night, much to his dismay, and all of our dismays, because we missed out on a normal book club. Luckily, it was kind of a weird week, so we decided to do this.
Yeah, I only bought 5 new books this week, and then I got one older one. I bought, thanks to Alec, snagged me a Once and Future. That's the only one I have yet to read, so I'm going to read that one tomorrow or tonight.
Oh, well, you should have read it by now.
I was savoring it. I was busting through all the new stuff for this week and then savoring that.
But that was new last week.
Yes. So I'm still savoring. It's a long-term savor.
How about we start off with the old club banger? So should we go over the categories?
Yeah. Okay. We kind of went through and decided like what is it we wanted to share. For those that don't know, we actually did one of these back in January, I think, to look back at 2018. And it's been a while, obviously, since then. And
about 8 months.
Yeah, exactly. About that, right? So we decided to do it again here now in the middle of the year, give or take. And we were looking at categories that we could chart for the year thus far. Do you want me to run through them? You want to run through them? What do you want?
I got them.
Go.
And yes, I am wearing my own shirt. If Iron Maiden can do it, I can do it. We picked 7 categories.
6.
Right?
2, 3, 4, Go ahead and read them off. Maybe I missed some.
Oh, no, my note is messed up. Cover artist, writer, artist, series, and underrated series.
So we've got a pick for all of these. I asked Alec earlier in the week, hey, should we have like a backup, like our second favorite for these categories? He says, no. And then I jump into the live stream. He's like, by the way, I've got a backup for every single one. Because I knew you would pull this garbage. I knew it.
Yeah. Well, I had to keep you on your toes. Comics Just Explained Missing Pieces did not come out this year, does not count. No. Shout out the chat before we begin. TJ Watson, first off in the chat. JM Comics, close second. DS Comics, a third. Show and Place, right? No, it's called.
Yes, actually, I think you're right.
Craig Booher was 4th score in 3 minutes ago. Very funny. I like that. Steven Spock. JEP's Budget Collecting. Me. Oh, look at that. Old Wolf 65, Comic Books NYC off and Barrelline Comics off their fresh tag team victory, which was very entertaining. If you guys didn't watch it, go back to the Comic Core and watch the replay.
I think when he jumped in, that might have been my favorite moment. I was struggling not to laugh.
It was really good. Barbarian Kung Fu. Comics Misexplained, the aforementioned. D-Runk Comics. Thanks, everyone, for joining our silliness. Oh, and just fresh off the chat, Felix Maldonado. Okay, so I'm going to start off right off the bat. Let's do cover.
Because that's what we noticed first, right?
What's that?
That's what you notice first when you look at a book.
Typically, people often say don't judge a book by it, but in this case, we are literally judging books by it.
That's kind of the state of comic books in the last decade or so.
This is actually also the one I had the hardest time picking.
It was easy for me. Did you want me to show mine first, or?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, just because I've been able to see it up close and study it over and over again, it's definitely this.
That's a good one.
That I really haven't seen a cover that I enjoyed both seeing it before it came out when people were saying, "Oh, this is going to be a great cover," and I was interested but not super sold on it yet. But then my LCS said they had one, and I asked them for it. And seeing it up close, the planets, the stars, all the little details.
Did they align?
It's really, really amazing. It's spot on. It's minimalist, which I know you and I have a thing for minimalism.
Did not get my hands on that one, unfortunately.
So that would definitely be my cover of the year, and I'm gonna be shocked if there's a book that beats that by the end of the year.
Who's that by?
I have no idea.
Come on, really?
I don't know actually. It's not Trad Moore, right?
No.
So who is it?
I'm pretty sure it's Marcos Martin, the guy
that you were shouting out the other day.
Yeah, who I lost with.
I will actually check. I have yet to take it out of the bag since I bought it.
Oh, don't drop it.
It says Marcos Martin. Boom, boom.
Nailed it. So as John said, I have runners up. So I'm gonna go through my runners up quickly. This is a runner up for me. As soon as I saw this cover, I was like, I have to own that. That's incredible. I love the original painting. God, this glare. Hold on. To figure something out here. Doesn't help it's in a top loader. But there you go. The Chat Noir. But my cover of the year so far by the one and only Chip Zdarsky, Minimalist, Spider-Man, Like Story, Part 1, the 60s. Come on, man. That is a brilliant piece of like overall work of just everything coming together, text, image, color. Grabs you, it doesn't let you go.
And I will say that book will be coming up later from me at some point.
Intriguing.
I don't want to explain how or what. Somebody in the chat, Old Wolf is joking who doesn't have laundry because he saw that I've changed shirts. I do that for those of you watching on the replay. If you're watching on the replay one day and you decide to watch, Macamacore did Bay versus Island, and I want to watch that replay. Oh, what a great show. That was entertaining. And then you notice, hey, White Whale Comics did a show on Thursday. I want to see that. And you click over. You might not know that those two videos were recorded within 2 minutes of each other because of that one little thing I did. I changed my shirt.
Oh, so Comics Explained said maybe Archer and Catwoman, which I thought he was talking about this, which would have been a contender if it weren't for DC ruining it with that ugly banner at the bottom. But he meant the Black Cat.
I respect that comment.
I prefer the other one. Joe4771, welcome to the chat, says White Whale wins this round. Not the deal here, but
that's not.
Appreciate your support. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Joe.
Lots of love, respect.
Roman Curtis in the chat and Discovery Bay likes the joke.
You have a cover, and I appreciate people like Comics Misexplained or Kavi shouting out the books that they like. If you have a book that you like for your cover of the year up to now, please, let us know.
We want to know.
Have fun of it.
I missed Kavi's choice. What was his?
I don't know. Actually, he might not have said anything.
Okay, great.
I just like saying his name. So,
what category would you like to go with, John?
I'm not going to go with the one that I found hardest because I kind of want to do that one later on. I would like to do. Man, this is tough. I'm going to do artist. Which was your artist of the year up to now? And this one took me a little while to come around to, but I am going to make Bear Island very happy right now. I'm going to choose Stephanie Hans. I think Stephanie Hans is incredible. And even if we aren't talking about just cover art here, obviously, but the entire run of Die, except for issue 1, came out this year. Issue 1 was in December, but since then, all the other issues, 2, 4, 5, and 6, all came out this year. Interior art and cover, and then all these other amazing, covers like this one. And I just feel like she is definitely my artist so far of 2019.
Yeah, she was under consideration, but this is the only category where I do not have a runner-up. It was pretty much immediate choice for me. Also, an artist who does all of their interior work, including the coloring, everything. And it is the reason I chose this artist is because it is the one that, like, there's a lot of good artists working in comics right now, including Miss Hans. But this book made me every page, not literally gasp, but like mentally gasp. It was Dustin Nguyen. This series is absolutely tremendously gorgeous. Maybe not quite as prolific as Miss Hans and all the covers she does, but he just did do a cover for Strayed this week, which I neglected to take from the pile that's directly to my left to show. But Dustin Nguyen takes the cake for me.
And what are they on, issue 4 or 5 now on the Ascender?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been reading Descender and going back through the early trades for that run, and it is amazing. And I'm sure that by the time I catch back up, I'll be just as blown away because I've been loving the first 2 trades that I purchased.
Roman Curtis shuts off Matina, LOL. And,
yeah, that's a harsh pick. I respect that though. There were a lot of good artists that I thought about, but it was I kept basically putting them up against Stephanie Hans. I think if it was a year ago, it probably would have been Joelle Jones and what she was doing on Catwoman, because she was doing the same kind of thing, cover, interior, and then story on top of that. But she hasn't been doing that this year. She did that last year. So she was the only other one that was like, nope, sorry, not in contention.
Comics Explained said, Mr. Odds, yeah, man, he's real good, but when did Mr. Miracle end?
Yeah. Did he do any of the work on he didn't do any Heroes in Crisis, right? So
he did a couple issues.
Okay, so maybe. I know that Chris Misexplained was a big fan of that one. So
yeah. No.
JP.
Ross has been on fire. Thought about it briefly for a cover artist, but spoiler alert, he did not make my cut for cover artist.
Well, this wasn't cover. This was just artist.
Yes.
This was artist. We will get to cover artist
interior
at some point. So we have best cover of the year. We have best cover artist of the year to now, and best artist period. And so for me, I was trying to really balance somebody who does interior work, who also does covers, and really has a nice broad spectrum. And I would definitely say that for me, Stephanie Hans is that person. And I wanted to show off because she just showed a cover today. I don't know if you saw this on her Instagram. She's doing Valkyrie issue 3.
Ooh, that's hot fire.
That's a Stephanie Hans Valkyrie issue 3 cover. And I'm telling you right now, I'm going to own this book. That is amazing.
Is that a variant?
Yes, she said it's the variant cover, but she didn't mention if it's an exclusive or anything. It seems to be that it just would be the variant cover, meaning the cover B.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Yeah, exactly my feeling as well. And again, so if it, I just really gave her a lot of respect for the amount of work she's getting done.
Yeah, no argument here. Tremendous, like a 1B for me maybe. But should we just continue on with artists and do cover artists?
So we've done artist, we've done cover, and then you want to do cover artist? Let's see it, brother.
Oh, I'm going?
Do it.
Okay. Oh, that's not it. It's this stack. Pardon me. So my runner-up was Robert Hack, who has been doing these tremendous. I showed these the other night, but these tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Variants for Red Sonja.
The record label ones.
And this one is just like an old horror movie, movie poster.
I don't think that run is getting enough love. That Betty Veronica, Red Sonja, Vampirella. I read the first issue and I laughed a bunch.
Yeah,
I thought it was very entertaining. It's underrated.
And so anyway, like it a lot, but I think he's a great artist. But for me, there was only one pick. I've been shouting him out all year. It's Julian Totino Tedesco. What'd you just hold up? I missed it.
Marcos Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that cover is fire. Like that.
So good.
Yeah, and he did a bunch in that run, right?
He's done all the covers for that Daredevil run. Like, why else would I buy a Hawkman comic? I don't know. For Totino Tedesco. Look at the, I don't, you can't even see the detail, but it's tremendous. Speaking of Red Sonja, TJ.
Yeah.
Like, what a gorgeous cover.
I need to find more, recognize more Tedesco, because I don't know that I've been as aware.
There's another Daredevil,
and again, there's another set of books that's going to come up again.
So yeah, he just continually blows me away. If you haven't seen his 80s cover for Marvel Comics 1000 with She-Hulk wearing the short shorts and the Walkman, that's a spicy meatball right there.
That's primo.
So yeah, Totino Tedesco.
And for me, I went far more like pop as far as for my picks. For a cover artist, Frizen was my runner-up. I think the problem holding me back from Frizen is I haven't enjoyed the interior and the stories on pretty much anything she's doing the covers for.
That's not her fault.
That's not her fault, but it does seem to dissuade me from buying those books, in which case I don't enjoy them as much because I'm not like viewing them and appreciating them more. So Frizen was my runner-up, and I have really a lot of respect and love for her covers. But as mentioned earlier by Mr. Kavi, I am definitely going with Art Germ, and mostly for this Catwoman run, and I'll share a few of those in a little bit, but I can't be bothered to not mention this amazing cover that just dropped last week, and this cover that just dropped a little bit before. I'm not a Carnage fan. I like this Carnage cover. And those are just 3 of the books from this year. I have genuinely been enjoying the Catwoman run. I mean, I like a good booty cover. This is like booty cover on fleek or whatever. I don't know, like level 11 booty cover. Definitely a lot of respect. I really do love this Catwoman run. Now I understand
that's one of my favorites.
Covers as well. And those aren't as enjoyable. This is, by the way, one that's I really dig because it's this way, and then you see the Batman when you go that way coming out of her booty right there. So for me, I'm going. Yes, I'll show the Vampirella again. Of course, Bear Island. I'll show the Vampirella again.
So funny story about that Vampirella cover. One of my good friends is not an Art Germ fan, but bought that cover because he liked it so much.
And I know they even included, my LCS is selling the issue 1 black and white version for like $40, which I'm like, I'm not going to buy that, but it's an amazing piece of work. And boobs aside, I think it just captures her in a really cool way.
I don't think you should ignore it. Anyway, go on.
Not as good, better now. Yeah. The idea that the use of blood as part of her costume is kind of a cool stylistic element that I dig. The hair and the light behind her, the moon, I really dig. Yeah, you don't need to be an Art Germ fan to appreciate that cover. And for me, he is kind of the cover artist par excellence these days. And I would say there is a lot of his stuff I don't like because he is so prolific as a cover artist. But for Catwoman and some of those others that I showed alone, he gets the win for me.
There's also a virgin version of that cover, which, judging from the interior of that issue, she's not a virgin.
She ain't. Not in any sense.
JP's budget collecting with the information. Hans Valkyrie covers a 1 in 25. So
is it?
Get your wallets ready, kids.
May have to talk to my LCS then. All right.
Pre-order that on eBay or Midtown or something.
Yeah.
Or
it's a beautiful cover. She mentions only on her Instagram that she calls it the variant. So that's a bummer that it's a 1 in 25. Wow. But now we get into the front 3.
So Bear Island says hot women can't be virgins, huh? No, it has nothing to do with that. She has a lot of sex in that issue.
Yeah, in every, I would almost say, repeat consistently. It's a consistent theme. But hey,
Comics explains that she's a virgin and a saint.
No judgment about being a virgin or not a virgin, being good or bad.
Yeah, sex positive here, man.
It's just a qualifier.
Just be safe.
There you go. We did the art side. So the next 3 categories are generally the writer side. It's kind of cool the way that we just sort of haphazardly did this.
Haphazardly or very intentionally and intelligently?
Do we do anything that way? So we did cover artist, and artist up to now. I'm super pumped to see people shouting out things that they appreciate or like, people who've been on fire, maybe not so much. We're going to move into the best. So the next 3 categories are writer, series, and underrated series. Is it my turn to pick? Because we're on number 4, right?
Yep. And I think this, before you pick, this is a perfect time to remind everyone, no encouragement or suggestion, but if you do super chat during New Comic Book Day Book Club, it goes towards the literacy campaign so people can read these great books who maybe would not have a choice or a chance to otherwise.
But we won't make them read Vampirella because we don't want to scar anybody.
I'm not going to make anyone read anything. This is America.
So I'm going to go with writer, which was the toughest category for me to pick. I have a list of like 8 different writers that I was going through, even picking a like second best. Like I even went as far as like Jason Aaron, who's clearly had an amazing run. I had an interesting discussion with Bear Island about Jason Aaron and Jonathan Hickman. And I was like, Jonathan Hickman hasn't done much that I've read this year. He's done a small set recently, but he hasn't even halfway finished this storyline. I can't count it for me.
It's been real good, though.
It's been real good, but I couldn't count it. The same way for Jason Aaron, I've only really read War of the Realms. I haven't read a lot of his other stuff this year. And I do appreciate that he finished off something beautifully. He punctuated that sentence perfectly. But I haven't read enough of it to qualify. So I went with Chip Zdarsky, who I do feel like has done a lot that I've read this year and enjoyed, including Spider-Man Life Story and his Daredevil run that he's currently doing, both of which have had story arcs that completed this first 8 months of the year. So I chose Chip Zdarsky as the writer for me. I know that there are a lot of choices. I even thought about Donnie Cates, who's so prolific. I wanted writers who've done a fair amount. And there are Chip Zdarsky. He's got some indies as well. But for me, I'm basing this almost completely on the Marvel work he's been doing.
We did get a super chat from TJ Slab during Watson. It says, is Captain Marvel 1 on the list? Yes, it is a secret 8th category, which is best dumpster fire.
Number 1 dumpster fire. It would come in second because it's such a loser.
But we had some other great picks here. Comic Books Zone, I see, agrees writer is tough. Ewing, Aaron, and Cates from Jam Comics. Jeff Lemire.
Kieran Gillen, but I hadn't read Kieran Gillen, but I hadn't read this yet to qualify a second book for him.
Comics Explained says Jeff Lemire and Hickman. Jeff Lemire was definitely on my short list. He is definitely a favorite. As you jumped ahead, JV's Ledger Collecting said Kieran Gillen. We got another Ewing.
Yeah, I thought about Ewing because obviously he's co-writing Valkyrie, so there's a couple issues there besides the great Immortal Hulk run. But for me, if it was last year, 2018, I would probably have picked Ewing for Immortal Hulk up through that time. I think the second half of Immortal Hulk has probably been the slower and less enjoyable chunk, but that's just me.
Someone did mention my writer.
And it is? Oh, wait, you have a runner-up or no runner-up?
No runner-up. Jeff Lemire was almost my runner-up, but I decided to not pull any books because I got lazy and ran out of time. It's Kieran Gillen.
He was definitely on my list. Besides Once and Future and Die, is there anything else he's been writing lately?
I don't know if, honestly, I don't know if, what's that book called? I don't remember what it's called. Wicked and Divine is still coming out.
Gotcha.
I mean, Die alone would have been like in contention, but after this came out, sealed deal for me. Like you knocked 2 books out of the park, as far as I'm concerned. You also wrote Darth Vader, apparently. I didn't even know that. I'll have to go back and read that. This is the Once and Future variant, by the way, one per store variant. Since John just showed it, I don't want to confuse people who don't know.
Yeah, I have cover A, I believe.
I have cover A as well somewhere. I couldn't find it. That
Yeah,
nobody else will
I don't.
after maybe.
I don't disagree with Gillen at all. I think I'm sure after I read Once and Future, he will fly up the list as well. And there are artists or writers, I should say, that who have one book and that book is just amazing. And that should be enough to qualify them. I think just for some reason, I just felt like picking a writer who had several books and all of them were on a certain
certainly book. Like I said, certainly more impressive when, I don't know, it's only been one issue of Once in the Future, but I liked it so much that, and I see so much potential in it that, like when you write more than one thing and it's really good, that for me definitely adds points. So even if maybe there was a single series hint that I liked better, writing multiple series that are like right behind it is
right.
What you had.
Well, and I mean, like last year, again, if it would have been probably Al Ewing versus Donny Cates, because he finished Thanos. He was writing Venom, and I was loving Venom. He was doing some great stuff with Cosmic Ghost Rider. I was really appreciating Cates more last year than this year. He's got lots of books going on this year, and I enjoy a bunch of them. But I put him out of contention for right now because I'm enjoying his books less this year than last year, personally.
JM Comics says Gillen has done great with Die, but it's only been 5 issues this year, so I'd find it hard to say he's been the best. Yeah, I guess I picked quality over quantity, even though I just said multiple books put him over the top. So I'm kind of contradicting myself. Let's move on.
All right, so it's your turn to pick. We've got the last two choices are either best series up to now or most underrated series up to now.
Thought you wanted to end with underrated.
I did. I just wanted them not to know.
Oh, whoops. Hey, how about we do best series?
The reason I wanted to finish with underrated series is because it's generally going to be a book that most people probably in the chat aren't reading. Whereas best series of the year.
Ideally. That's kind of
I have a feeling that my favorite series is one that our chat has already heard and is excited about no matter what. Whereas my underrated book is probably going to be one people are like, yeah, I hear you talk about that, John, but I don't know that I've ever want to read it.
If you watch my channel, you've definitely heard about my best series.
So what is your best series of the year so far?
It's going to be a real shocker to everybody. It's Little Bird. 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 And I couldn't find my third print cover. It just blew my mind. The world building, the art, like obviously I didn't pick anything as the best on its own in a vacuum. Like I think there were better singular things, maybe, but everything together was like this beautiful goulash drink of just everything together. It all functioned so well. That I loved it from beginning to end. I think it was an absolute masterpiece. Little Bird's the land.
And I will say that was high on my list for artist. I think the interior, the cover, what they were doing with the art there, that was definitely on my list. It was probably in my top 3 for this particular category, which is best series for this year. I generally tried to pick something that was ongoing, not something that was mini series. And obviously Little Bird had an end point and it was amazing. And we will talk about it.
That's why it's a mid-year review.
Yeah, it is. I just tried to pick something, a series that would go, that would continue to produce.
That might end up being bad.
It's true, but I don't believe that would be true of my comic, which is Die.
Yeah, right. Sure, it was a close contention for me.
Yeah, and me as well. And for me, the clincher was reading issue 6. And the gut punch of the whole storyline they had for issue 6, and me feeling like, yeah, well, there's no bad choices here, right? Where Little Bird, Die, you got some great books either.
Well, there are bad choices like DC or Captain Marvel.
I just meant the 2 that we're talking about. Yeah, I appreciate where you're coming at from this. Yeah, Biggie, I do like Die. I've talked about it ad nauseum. Probably there's probably several of you that are like, okay, let's pump the brakes, buddy. But it is a
You don't
book.
need to apologize for the things you love.
I apologize for my kids a lot.
Fair. That was a good joke.
So for me, yeah, it had to be Die. I do think it's a book that I will go back to, much like I go back and reread Watchmen, or I reread Year One or something like that. I think it will be a book I go back to and reread again, repeatedly.
Yeah. Too bad they're never putting Little Bird out in a collected format. Or so
Wait, what?
In the back of issue 1, it says, we're not going to be putting this out in a traditional collected format, whatever that means.
What's their logic for that?
I don't know, to get you to buy.
How does that help the artist and writer? Because that's secondary market. They're not seeing the money. That's weird.
I don't know. Maybe they're just going to put it out in some non-traditional format, like covered in spaghetti.
Paper airplanes.
Yeah.
And they just fly over and drop them. I agree. Heroes in Crisis was a series that I thought about. I just felt like it was a little too long, a little too uneven. Obviously, if you compare it to anything else that King has done, Mr. Miracle, Vision, any of that kind of stuff, that's like his shorter miniseries stuff, I just think it's a distant second to some of that stuff.
Take the Time Collectible says an oversized hardcover down the road. Is that speculation, or do you have insider knowledge?
I'd be down for that.
I would like to know.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise I would just download it digitally so I could continue to read it from time to time.
Yes, I mean, I've got 1,000 copies of issue 1, so I can reread it.
I'm shocked that TJ loves Deceased that much.
A lot of people love it.
And Felix, I do agree. I thought about Daredevil as a series. I just think there's no superhero comic on the level of Die. As much as I love, Daredevil and several other comic book storylines involving superheroes, I don't think anything is on that same level.
Take Time Collectible says it is speculation, but based on the art, I can totally see it happening. Based on the art, I would love to see it happening because it is real nice looking. No, I believe what he was saying was, I mean, I'll let you explain yourself.
Yeah, I was saying that I love a lot. I generally read superhero comics, and I didn't think any superhero comics were as good as Die. And so Die was above superhero comics.
You say the cream rose to the top? Where's Comic Head 84 and Nino?
So yeah, for me, Die. I love a lot of great superhero comics, and Die was just surprisingly better than that. I usually prefer superhero comics, and Die it just crushed everything.
So, on to our final category.
We're blasting through this incredibly quickly. I did spend a little time thinking on this one, underrated comic. I picked this because I wanted to have a category for those like misfit toys, those books that you're like, nobody's really talking about this. Nobody's doing shows on this. Nobody's posting things on this because for whatever reason, it's just not popular. Right? Like,
yeah,
I'm thinking like right now. Yeah. I'm thinking right now, like Lois Lane. I'm thinking right now, Valkyrie, some of the books that I'm reading and enjoying and wondering why nobody else is making a lot of noise about these. And last year, that book was definitely Old Man Hawkeye, which was the comic that I felt like I didn't know why anybody else wasn't reading this. Like everybody should have been reading that. And so then it makes sense that this year it would be Old Man Quill. I think Ethan Sachs is an amazing writer, and I am constantly surprised by how few people read his work. And this is a shockingly undervalued and underappreciated run. If I had to pick like a single issue that I loved the most this year, it's probably issue 7 that I've repeatedly said is just mind-blowingly badass. From, again, it starts with the Guardians finding the Baxter building in the middle of the desert, half buried, and having to descend underground to the lower levels where Morlocks are living and fight them off by turning on the Fantastic Four chopper and using the propeller blade to chop up Morlocks. And it ends with the evil villains of the church arriving and the shocking revelation that maybe what we thought was true all along isn't true. So it takes the story up to now and just flips it on its head.
I know you very frequently talk about those books. For me, I'll tell you why I have never read them. Because I just, the
Title?
No, I guess like thematically, they just don't interest me. They don't like jump off the shelf and say like, read me. It's like, I don't care about alternate future weirdness.
And a lot of people feel that way. I would argue that it's not alternate future because clearly Old Man Logan was in current timeline.
Yeah.
And then he goes back. So it is the future timeline. And I also wanted to shout out the last issue, the most recent one, which is nuts. And it gives you the backstory on all the information that they twisted in 7, they give out in 8. And yeah, because John likes them. Tell the truth, White Whale.
Oh, that's why I don't like them? No, that's not true at all.
Take the Time Collectible says the use of Fing Fang Foom in that run was I agree. And that was here in issue 4. Watching Star-Lord versus Fin Fang Foom was awesome. There are repeated moments every issue where I just find myself going, no way. And I felt the same in Old Man Hawkeye. I do feel like anything, for the most part, I think anything that Ethan Sachs does from here on out, and I hear he's doing a Star Wars run, I feel like I want to try it out just to give him that shot.
Very cool. I'll maybe read it and trade eventually. Or we can do an A-OK book club.
I was going to say.
My runner-up for underrated series is something I mentioned before, and it started in 2018, so that's why I kind of discounted it. But it's Lodger by the Laphams. Great book.
I'm going to write this one down because I'm clearly missing out.
Really, I've mentioned it before. Thanks for paying attention to our show. It's like a really good, interesting, interweaving crime story.
What's the publisher?
It is Black Crown, which is an IDW subsidiary.
Sounds like a kind of whiskey.
The Laphams, David Lapham. But my underrated series, and I partially picked this because it surprised me so much. I liked it way more than I thought I was going to, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. It is Meet the Skrulls.
That's a great one.
It was thoroughly enjoyable from start to finish, and just all around art, story, everything. And I'm pretty sure it's the Marcos Horton cover. So there you go, full circle.
You know what? I'm surprised I had totally not even considered that one. I that was a huge oversight. That's a great call.
Yeah, I think if you have not read it, it is a fascinating look into. I don't know. It's just it's like, sleeper agent type thing. Not really sleeper agent, but double agent. I don't know. It's hard to describe. But it's good and it's great, and people aren't talking about it, which makes it, in my book, pretty underrated.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I haven't heard enough people talking about it, especially when it ended so well. I think it has that spy undercover thing, but I think it also has a great family, teenage kid rebellion kind of storyline as well, going all the way through it, which mirrors what I kind of loved about Vision as well. Yeah. There's a similarity to Vision as far as suburbia and things not being the way that you think they are.
But it's also very different.
Oh, yeah. And the twists are phenomenal.
And it's very interesting how they are able to use, Skrulls, but also use being a Skrull as the hardship for the teenagers, but make it very relatable to just being a teenager.
Totally. Yeah, that's a great one.
So, Meet Skrulls. Go read it if you haven't checked it out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And
I want to say there's a trade out for that right now too.
Yeah, there should be. And it was one of those things that like they really could have, dropped the ball at the end and like gotten thrown out at home, but they stuck the landing. That was a lot of analogies.
3 sports analogies there. I was impressed.
Thanks. I know how much you like sports.
Sports ball, best ever.
Sports balls. So usually we go an hour. We got 13 minutes to kill.
I was going to just shout out to people watching now and on the rewind. If you have books that are in these categories, I'm going to repeat the categories here for you right now. Please leave us comments and let us know. I try to go back through and see what comments are made when it's not a video on my channel. I don't necessarily get the warnings when people make a comment. But if you have
warnings?
a book that has, the little the notifications or whatever.
Yeah, okay, that sounds better.
Warnings. Look out!
Someone paid attention to you.
Hey, I do need that sometimes. Cover artist and cover artist are the 3 art side categories. And then on the story side, we have writer, series, and underrated series. Those are the 6 categories that we picked for this mid-year review. Were there any books that you feel like started later that could very well make the list by the end of the year? I have a few if you want.
Yeah, please. Because
obviously Hickman right now is in the throes of it. And with just 6 or 7 weeks left in his storyline, it's entirely conceivable that by the end of this 2019, Hickman is a big part of this conversation if we try to do this again at the end of the year.
If he nails the rest of this and it makes me as good, yeah, sure, definitely.
And then beyond that, I'm really enjoying the Lois Lane. I'm really enjoying Valkyrie. I'm even enjoying Invisible Woman. So I feel like there's definitely some of those great female-led superhero comics that, if they get a couple of good storylines under their belt, could be in consideration for me.
Gray Matter Hulk asks, what are we looking forward to in the second half of the year? I'll be perfectly honest. I don't pay attention to anything. I don't pay attention to news or rumors.
Or my channel or
or the people talking on my show besides me. So unless it's coming out next week, I probably don't know about it. So
unless it's coming out of my mouth, I don't know.
Unless I'm the one saying it, it don't matter to me. What about you, Gray Matter Hulk? What are you looking forward to? Maybe you can give me some insight as to what to look forward to. What about you, John? Since you're more in the know than me.
That has never been the case.
I'll catch up.
I'm saying Lois Lane and Valkyrie are 2 comics that, if they stick their first storyline and they really land that beautifully, they could definitely be in that contention for me. I'm looking forward to Joelle Jones returning to Catwoman, but that might not be to the very end of the year, so that might not even be in the conversation. And of course, Hickman. I mean, I really do have hope that what he's doing will finish strong. And if it does, I think it's going to be hard not to include that in all the conversations at the end of the year.
I am looking forward to, mostly out of curiosity, the J.J. Abrams Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, is that October-ish?
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of the post-House Powers X series. What a surprise! The comic was explained, shouting out Black Monday murders. Drink.
JP was shouting out Valkyrie as well, which I do think is really underrated. And I was talking to somebody was chatting with me about Valkyrie not that long ago. Anyways, there's definitely some love for Valkyrie going on right now, and I think the combination of Aaron and Ewing and that character, you could definitely see that exploding. And again, you're going to get the ending to Immortal Hulk. I don't want to throw that out. That's a big, No,
you should keep that. That's going to be a long-term hold.
You're saying don't sell it?
Yeah, because you said I'm going to throw that out.
No, I'm saying I might.
I know.
I might actually sell it. I'll have the entire run with the Ross covers.
So this didn't come out this year, but I just got it, and it's Tortino Tedesco. I'd show that. And I want to give a shout out. Speaking of shout outs, to Drew Manchu, Bebe. He very graciously and generously okayed me a book that he told me about, which was this that I put on a want list that I was planning on buying for myself. But he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll send it to you." But if that wasn't enough, he's put this in the package too. Eastman Usagi.
Ooh.
Variant. So big shout out to Drew Manchu, Bebe.
Is that Ant-Man? Is that a Frizen? Who's that?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm making sure I did that right.
Yeah, it's real pretty.
Yeah, I will say, yeah, Frizen was really close in the running for my cover artist. I think
also did not come out this year though.
She does not do any. I should say not. I shouldn't say any, because she did do one cover that I absolutely hate. But in general, she does amazing, phenomenal covers.
A lot of people shouting out Spawn 300.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. I just never been a Spawn fan. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, I bought 298, 299. I'll buy 300, 301 just because I like the homage covers. But
sure,
I've not read it. I haven't opened a page.
I try to stay in my lane on that one. I read it long ago. I've never really come back to it. So, I mean, at some point probably I should. I just never have.
In other news, I had 2 dinners and I'm still hungry.
I mean, are you saying like this week?
No, today.
Okay. Because I've had a few dinners this week.
Yeah. How many entrees is a normal person supposed to eat?
I think the idea of entree is 1.
Like for dinner?
Yes. I mean, it would depend on the restaurant.
Like a grown-up.
Right. Because I've been to restaurants where an entree is like really tiny portions. That's like that's all fancy because they want you to have like appetizer, starter, entree, second, dessert kind of thing. It's like a 6-course meal thing.
I am 39 years old. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
No, I do not have the
Frizen
boob cover or the legless Wonder Woman cover, Comics Misexplained. The Frizen cover I don't like is the one where she's having ice cream with Superwoman and they're smiling. I think Jenny Frizen's characters with teeth freak me out. And that Jenny Frizen cover, they're both smiling and I have the weird teeth on them.
I don't care for it.
It freaks the daylights out of me. I don't know what it is. Jenny Frizen draws teeth weirdly. I like her stuff sepia, and sepia for me is like those old photographs when people intentionally didn't smile. And I dig
much like most of the photos I take.
Sure, you're a throwback.
I just got an Instagram message that says that Usagi was actually an auction win from an auction that he was told to send to me. So still, thank you very much, Drew Manchu, and thank you to the mystery AOKer. I don't know if they want me to shout them out. So
I'm confused about that, but okay.
Yeah, me too.
Good to know.
But very happy to have both. So thank you to everyone, and thank you to everyone for watching.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I generally enjoy looking back because it does make me sort of think about what am I enjoying most? What do I want to make sure I keep reading? What am I not enjoying as much? What do I want to let go of?
What do you want to let go of?
Well, I'm sorry to say I don't collect Middle West anymore. Stopped reading that.
Same.
I didn't enjoy it enough. And it's been a couple of weeks now where I put it back. I've loved the covers. I just put them back on the shelf. I just haven't appreciated it as much.
Yeah, if I have like 3 to 4 issues of something in my queue to read, usually tells me it's time to. I don't want to read it anymore.
I think it'll be nice going forward to kind of look back inside and make those hard choices. I think Sea of Stars is on the edge there. I'm gonna maybe give it one more issue. I'm not crazy about it. The idea is a little simple. I'm waiting for the big twist.
Yeah,
you know.
You have anything you want to plug on your channel?
Let's see. On my channel, I think the next thing that's going to be appearing for me is on Sunday. I will have another movie review show with Perry and Fire Guy Ryan. Tomorrow, I'm doing Boy Who Had Sevens Friday Night Fights. We're going to do the second round of Friday Night Fights. This is the show where, like Alec, you had to sweat it out, jump into your short boxes, dig around, throw all your boxes on the floor, spill and break all your comics, and pull the one to win the tournament.
Yeah, I really blew it. And like as soon as we finished last week, I was like, oh, I know exactly the PA cover I should have chose. Whoops. The pressure really gets to you. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, and I do think there's something fun and funny about the style and format of it. And so, yeah, that'll be tomorrow. I want to say 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern is the time we settled on for Friday Night Fights. But that's going to be happening. And then movie reviews should be Sunday evening around 5 or 6 my time, 8 or 9 Eastern.
JP's Budget Collecting says, yes, I'm going to get destroyed by CBNYC. Yeah, especially if one of the categories is like best first appearance of Spider-Man. Hashtag multiple comic Monday.
Unless you got people in the chat trying to, hamstring him, shiv him, backstab him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I play dirty. That's the only way to beat Kavi is to play dirty.
Fair Matter Hulk says, just hold up the AF-15 and fade to black. Yeah, if you can work that in, that's definitely gonna be a round winner. I guess I got Story Comic Core on Monday. I don't really know what that show is yet, still, after all this time, but we're having fun. Sometimes. Some people in chat, not so much. John?
I wasn't there last week. I'm sorry. I was unable to attend.
Yeah.
The weeks before, I'm usually there, heckling, having fun.
Heckling, that's for sure. And then next week, we're going to be back on your channel for book club.
And we're going to have Just a Rican and his comics joining us.
Is that official?
It is official.
Great. Thanks for telling me.
And we're going to have Marvel 1000 as our book.
And you know which cover I'm buying?
80,000 of them. Is there Tedesco cover out there?
Yeah, I just said that earlier with She-Hulk and the walk.
Oh yeah, the shorty shorts. Yeah. Good look.
So yeah, I'm gonna be buying that. Although the Mark Brooks Captain America cover is real nice looking too.
What is the cost on the?
I think it's like $10.
That's not bad. Where
on the Tedesco? No, it's not a ratio. Oh. All the Decade covers are like 1-for-1.
Oh, nice. So then there you go. What did TJ say? Monday was your best show ever.
Because we just talked. We didn't like.
Is that a compliment though? Because he really didn't like those other shows.
It's like, oh, this was not a pile of turd. So good job.
That was the best smelling garbage I've ever noticed.
Yeah, I think that
I'll tell you.
A lot of people are shouting out different covers. I think the Decade covers are the 70s covers really great too, by Smallwood, I think.
Okay.
I think they did a much better job of the Decade covers than DC did, because I thought that some of those were underwhelming.
I will say, I know
if Tedesco didn't. Go ahead. You don't know nothing about it?
I know nothing about Marvel Comics 1000 or the covers. I've really just kind of avoided it until now that I need to start thinking about it. So I don't know what the story's about. I don't know who's writing it. I don't know if it's like 20 different writers doing 2-page stories, or I don't know.
It is. So it's gonna be tough to talk about. But maybe not. Maybe it'll be a blast. It'll be a blast. You got us.
It's gonna be just a Rican in his comics. You know you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, the three of us, power trio. Come on now.
I'm definitely the weakest link in that trifecta.
I wouldn't say that
out loud.
Yeah, I'd think it, but I wouldn't say it. If I find time, I'm going to shoot some new videos soon-ish, but life gets in the way sometimes of YouTube, and sometimes YouTube gets in the way of life. sometimes YouTube is life, and
sometimes it's 90.
Sometimes YouTube is 90. Not tonight. He's conveniently missing.
It's probably a good thing.
Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. Probably can't hear that. Too far away?
I can hear it.
Okay, great. This is Sky Tigers. In case you don't watch my channel regularly, check them out on Bandcamp or all the time. Little Bird is Life, Little Bird is Land. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, John. Thanks to all the creators who made great books so far this year, and looking forward to more books. And never turn your back to the ocean. Okay, bye.